All right, welcome to the Entrepreneur Insider Secrets podcast. Excited to spend time with you again, talking about things that are important to you in your business. Today, we're going to be talking about going from passion to positioning, how you turn your calling into a clear offer. Now, this is something that happens a lot with people when they're first getting started. This is something that I see frequently. People come to me and they have an idea. They have an idea of what it is that they want to do. They have an idea of what it is that they love. There's something in life that they're very passionate about. There's something that they means a lot to them. And a lot of times it's tied to their past experiences. Um, Maybe they were part of a church or an organization and they had a very, we'll just say, negative experience. And as a result, they want to help other people not have the experience that they had. Or maybe they went through a very difficult time in their life. Maybe they went through some real struggle, maybe health problems or financial problems or relationship problems or just psychological problems. Sometimes life can just be hard and we go through things and there's very, very difficult things that we face. And a lot of times that develops a passion. Like maybe this person worked through these challenges and got to the other side and overcame them. And now they have this passion for helping people and wanting to do things to really make a difference because they know how important it was for their own life. They know how important it was for them not to be stuck in what it is that they're in their own life, and they don't want that pain for others as well. This is just something that we all have that to a degree. We all have this desire that, like, no, I am not going to let that be my story. This is something I was talking about with my trainer at the gym this week. He has a mother who is just probably 6 years older than me, so not that much older, and she is in terrible physical condition. And she is literally on a breathing mask. She has next to no mobility. She is basically had to be hospitalized, can't do anything. And my trainer, he's trying to motivate her 100 different ways, and she doesn't want to do it. And it's crazy because Gary, my trainer, is in fantastic shape. The guy is incredibly strong, incredibly good shape. And his mother is in terrible shape. And I mentioned to him the other day, and I said, wow, that's just really sad. I said, doesn't she have this like passion or desire to not live like this, to want a better life for herself? And he goes, no, she doesn't. But I related to that because a few years ago, I had, come off this stretch where I was working nonstop. I was working probably 80, 100-hour work weeks. I was killing myself, pouring everything I had into my work. And as a result, you can probably guess what happens. When you do everything in one area of your life, the other areas of your life tend to start falling apart. They tend to start struggling. And I knew at that point in my life, I was at a point where my physical health was starting to, I wasn't having problems yet, but I could just tell. I felt the weakest I'd ever felt. I just felt like I had this internal sense of, if I don't do something, this is going to end in a bad place that I don't want to be. This is, I had this mental image of this bus driving towards a cliff. And it was just like this little internal cue of like, hey, buddy, this is the direction that we're headed. There's still time to turn the wheel and to turn away from the cliff, but you need to start turning now. You need to start taking action now. And so I saw people around me who were my own age, and I went, I don't want that. I don't want that life. I don't know who are riding around in the little scooters and wheelchairs. And like, no, I don't want to end up like that. I don't want to end up disabled if I can help it. I want to do everything I can to stay away from that. And so I started working out at the gym with a trainer, trying to get stronger. And I said, doesn't she have any of that passion or purpose? She goes, she has none. She goes, that's the difference between you and her. Because you came in and you saw this and said, no, I'm going to make this a priority and I'm going to do it. And she just doesn't care. And then, as a result, your heart breaks for that person, because he shows me pictures of her, and she's just laying there, and she's barely living. She's barely existing. She's just laying there all day, can hardly move. And your heart just breaks for that person. You want so much to help them. You want so much to do something for them, because you got this passion that that for yourself. Hey, I saw this coming for me too. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I don't want to go down this path. I want to go down a different path. I want to go down a path that is going to allow me to avoid all the physical and health problems. So you develop a passion, you develop a desire to help people. But here's the thing: having a passion, having a desire to help people is good. Having a desire to make a difference in someone's life is a good thing, but it's not enough. And that's something that we're going to talk about today, because this is something that we run into all the time, where we hit this point where someone will come to me as, this is what I love. These are the people I want to help. This is the struggle that I went through in my life, and I want to help other people who are feeling the same way. Okay, great. You have a passion for that because there's a wound there. There's something that you overcame in your past. There's a challenge that you went through and you've overcome it. And that's a great thing. But how does that turn into a business? How does that turn into something? And then I get the question a lot of, would people actually pay for this? And that right there, that question is typically revealing that we haven't yet taken our passion and turned it into positioning. That we haven't yet turned that love of something into something that's a tangible, clear offer. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about, how do I take my passion into something that people would actually pay for, and to be able to do that, because if we're going to do this as a business, we need to be able to do that. This can't just be something we care about. It's got to be something that people would actually say, hey, I would pay you to help me with this. I would absolutely write you a check to have you help me with this. So first of all, let's talk just a little bit about why passion alone doesn't create income. Now, passion is very, very important in this process. I don't want to minimize that. Passion is incredibly important because running a business takes a lot of hard work, and it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of effort. And if you aren't passionate about what you're doing, and this is where every time I see somebody come to me and they have this idea, I'm like, why are you doing this idea? Because I think it's going to be a chance to make a lot of money. And I'm going, well, you're screwed. I don't even hear anything else. I don't need to hear you say anything else, because your only reason for doing this is because you think you can make a bunch of cash. And past that, what if it isn't as easy as you thought it was going to be? What if it didn't just all fall in your lap and you made a bunch of money? You're going to quit. Why? Because you have no passion for it. You're only doing it because you think you can get paid. So passion is extremely, extremely important in all this journey. You need to have passion for what you're doing, because the passion and the desire is going to drive you forward. It's going to cause you to keep going. It's going to cause you, when you're looking at it going, man, I've been working on this for 6 months, 12 months, or whatever it may be. Who am I kidding? What am I doing? But you're just driven by the fact that, no, this is what I love to do. This is what I feel in my heart I'm supposed to do. And I'm going to keep going because it's what I feel inside. That passion will help you keep going. So it's very critical to make sure that you have that. That is a very important piece. But we also need to make sure that that passion is turned into something clear that people want. So when you hear people say things like, I want to help people live their best life, or I want to help people grow, or I want to inspire other people, those are good things. Okay? Those are very, very good things. But do you think those are things that people would pay for? I'm going to tell you the answer is no. Not because they're not good things, not because helping people live their best life. It's not that those aren't good things. People will not pay for that, not because it's not because they think it's bad, but because it's unclear. You have not yet made it clear what it is that you're helping them with. So when the audience goes, okay, great, you want to help me, you want to inspire me. How? In what way? In what area of my life? In what means are you going to inspire me? How are you going to help me live my best life? I don't know. This is too vague. It's too broad. It's too general. You have not yet identified the specific problem that you're addressing. You're not yet identifying the specific issue that you're working on. So that leads us to our second point, which is you need to turn your calling into a problem that you solve. So here's a little bit what I'm talking about. And this is the shift that you need to make. This is the shift that you need to make in your process to take your passion and turn it into something that people actually say, yeah, I'll hire you for that. I'll pay you for that. Instead of asking, what do I want to say? Ask, who do I want to help? And what are they struggling with? So instead of just saying, this is what I want to help, this is what I want, you need to look at it and say, who are the specific people that I want to help? First, you got to identify who the people are. And that's usually the easy part, because people who have passion are seeing other people in the world that had a similar problem to what they went through, whatever that may be. There's something out there that they went through, that they struggled with, that was a problem, and they overcame some things and they worked through it. And now they want to help people who are feeling the same way. Okay. So that's usually the easier part of the process. You need to, but then you want to be very clear. You want to be very specific on exactly who those people are, exactly why they're, why you're helping those specific people. You want to make sure that you're ultra clear on that. But then the next part is, what is it exactly that you're helping them solve? Because people will pay for one of two things. They will pay for you to help them solve a problem or to help them reach a goal. Like there's something that they're stuck on in life, something that's causing them pain, something that's giving them issues, and they need it fixed. It's like, I have a flat tire on my car. I wasn't planning on giving this, auto shop money today, but I have a flat tire, and I will now gladly pay you money to fix my tire so my car can keep going. That's a simple example of, I have a problem. Can you fix my problem? And in doing so, yes, okay, I will pay you to fix my problem. Is there something in your audience? Is there something that they need help with? This is where they're struggling. They have a problem right here that needs to be addressed. And this isn't just a problem that you see, it's a problem that they see. Because a lot of times, here's the thing, that when you've been more experienced, when you've done this for a while, you start to realize, yeah, when I first started out, I thought my problem was this. But as I worked through things, I realized that was actually my problem. And so I was spending all this time over here trying to solve my problem, only to realize that wasn't it. It was this. And I'll give you an example of that. If you look, I have on my right arm, I have a compression sleeve on. And there's a reason. And that's because over the last 6 weeks, I've been dealing with a lot of shoulder pain. I injured my shoulder in a workout at the gym. And for the past 6 weeks, I have been dealing with all sorts of issues with pain in my shoulder. I wake up in the middle of the night and I roll over and I got shooting pain going right through my shoulder. And it's very frustrating and it's very difficult and it's not pleasant. And I've been trying everything under the sun to try and solve it. And I've been trying rest, ice, compression, all sorts of things just to try and solve this issue. And then yesterday we're at the gym and I was talking to another trainer and he said, yeah, he goes, your pain's like right here, right below the shoulder. He goes, yeah. He goes, is your your pectoral / chest muscle sore? I go, yeah, when we do like the massage gun on it, it's very sore. He goes, what about your lat muscle underneath underneath your shoulder? I said, yeah, that's really tender and sore too. He goes, there's your problem. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, you've been trying to treat the shoulder the whole time, but in reality, your problem is your pec and your lat. And he goes, the problem that you're dealing with is your pectoral muscle and your lat muscle are tight. Those muscles are very tight. As a result of them being very tight, they're pulling on the shoulder because the pectoral muscle and the lat muscle are connected to the shoulder by the ligaments. The ligaments go into the shoulder, and those ligaments then, because these muscles over here are tight, they're pulling on the shoulder muscle, which is causing the pain in the shoulder. So you spent all this time trying to treat your shoulder with rest and ice and all these other things, when in reality, you're not dealing with the source of the problem. You need to treat your pectoral muscle and loosen that up. You need to stretch it, loosen it up, and the same with your lat. So when you do that, those muscles will stop pulling on the ligaments, which will relieve the pain and the stress on your shoulder. And so yesterday we went through this whole different series of workouts, all designed to do that very thing, to do that specific type of thing. And today, my shoulder, although it is not pain-free, feels the best that it's felt in weeks. And I'm sitting there going, wow, all this time I thought I was trying to treat my shoulder, when in reality I needed to treat my pec and my delt. Or my lat. So this is where you may be looking at a situation. The reason I tell you this is you may be looking at a situation and you may be saying, yep, this person is struggling with this, and that they may think this is the problem, but that is actually the problem. But if someone came to me 3 weeks ago and said, yeah, hey, you got a sore shoulder? Yeah, you need to be stretching out your pec and your lats. I'd be like, what? What are you talking about? That wouldn't make sense to me, because I would say, no, my pain isn't here. My pain is here in my shoulder. But they knew the answer, and I was still confused as to what was going wrong. So the reason I say all this is when you are talking and marketing and speaking to your target audience, you need to make sure you're speaking their language. Even when you know what the real answer is. Because this is going to happen more often than you know, is that people are trying to solve a problem in their life, and the reason they're not getting a solution is because they're using the wrong methods. They're trying to solve it in the wrong way, and because they're trying to solve it in the wrong way, they still have the problem. It's not going away. Like me sitting here with endless things of ice on my shoulder and my compression sleeve and all the stuff that I'm doing it, and I'm not getting results. But there is an answer out there if I try a different way. So you need to think about that for your audience. But when you speak to them, you need to speak to where they are, not to where you are and what you see. When you speak to them like, yeah, you need to do this, they're not going to listen to you, because they're going to think you don't know you don't understand them. You don't know what you're talking about. You're not hearing what their problem is. Because for me, I would have done the same thing until the guy sat down with me yesterday and explained it to me. Because I would have said, no, I don't have problems there. I have problems in my shoulder. You need to understand that your audience thinks the same way. So when you talk to them, you need to speak to them in their language with the problem or the goal that they're trying to achieve that they just can't seem to get to. And you need to speak to them like, you've probably been trying to solve it like this. You've probably been trying to solve it like that. And it's not going well. Oh, yeah, exactly. I can't do it. And so now you're speaking directly to your audience in a way that you can talk to them and say, okay, I'm going to help you with that. That problem that you are specifically dealing with. And you need to make sure that that problem is something that's important to them. Because if this is a problem that they don't think is a problem, they're never gonna hire you or move to do anything about it. It's like going to someone with a drinking problem and saying, "Hey, I can help you. I can help you stop drinking. I have a program and a methodology to help you stop drinking and to put your alcohol problem behind you." And the person looks at you and says, "I don't have an alcohol problem. Leave me alone." And maybe their spouse, their family, their coworkers, they would all agree, "Hey, you have a drinking problem," but they don't think so. They don't think that they have a drinking problem, so they're not going to be interested in doing it. So you have to talk about a problem that they truly believe they have, and a problem that's causing them pain. A problem, because when a problem starts causing you pain, or when the lack of achieving a goal is so irritating you, that's also causing you pain. So when those things are happening, now that problem, that pain is front and center in your life. Now that pain and problem is sitting there, and it's a constant adjutant in your life. So when someone comes along and says, "Hey, I can help you solve that," your ears perk up. I'm listening. What do you have to say? How can you help me solve this? But again, if you're going to turn your passion into a business, you have to identify clearly, what is that problem that I'm solving? And is that problem causing them pain? Is that problem causing them to be unhappy, causing them to have discomfort? Is it causing them to want to take action to solve it? Because we all have problems in our life that we look at and go, "Yeah, I need to fix that." It's like that drippy faucet in the kitchen that we've been walking past for the past 6 months going, "Yeah, I need to fix that." Problem is that it's not getting fixed because it hasn't caused you enough pain yet. It hasn't hit you to the point yet of where you're really ready and willing to take action. So once you've identified that, you know exactly who your people are, and you know exactly what problem you're going to solve, and you know that that problem is important to them, that they have been dealing with this, that they're frustrated. Like for me, 6 weeks of sitting here living with shoulder pain, and it hurts. I'm just going to be honest with you, that sucker has hurt a lot. And I've had a lot of moments where I've just been sitting over here with a whole lot of shooting pain going up and down my arm. So when that guy yesterday showed me how to solve it, man, I was paying attention. And your audience will do the same thing for you if that problem is significant enough for them. If that problem is causing them enough pain, they're all of a sudden going to hear you and go, "Wow, how do I do this?" Because you are speaking their language and you're solving something that's very, very important to them. So when we're now building the offer, how do we want to build it? We want to build our offer around the transformation that you're going to generate for them. Now, this is the part that we always have this temptation, and we always have this thing where we can get a little off track. And it's not anything that's abnormal. It's 100% normal, but it happens all the time. And that is when we start talking about helping other people, when we start talking about creating transformation for other people, we tend to start talking about what we're going to do for them, what we are going to do, instead of what is going to change for them in their own life. We have to be able to look at this and worry less about what it is that we are doing. Because what happens is, okay, I have this coaching program and I have a whole video library that I can share with you on all the trainings on how to do all these other things. And I'm going to coach you on all this. But what we're doing is we're describing all the stuff that we are doing. We're describing all the resources that we provide. We're describing all the help that we're going to give. And that's great. And it's all a part of the program that we're doing, but it's not actually what they're concerned with. They're concerned with, how do I make my problem go away? How do I achieve the goal that I'm trying to achieve? How do I get to where it is that I'm trying to get to? which for me, in my case, was a place without pain. That's what we need to build our offer around. We need to build our offer around the transformation that we're trying to create. We need to build our offer around what it is that we're going to lead them to. And in my case, in my little story and analogy here, a pain-free shoulder. Very simple, right? Very, very simple. And yet, is that something that I'm highly motivated to get to? Yes. Because of all the pain that I've had to be dealing with over the past several weeks. This guy showing me how to solve it has me highly motivated to do exactly what he told me to do. So now when we do this, when we build the offer around the tangible outcome, the transformation that the person is looking for, and we show them we can get you exactly from where you are, which is this negative place of pain or discomfort or being unhappy, and I can get you to the place where you want to be, which is for example, a pain-free place, a place where your shoulder no longer hurts, where you're no longer, every time you move your arm, you feel shooting pain going through it. I can show you exactly how to do it. And you outline a very believable process and step-by-step thing that you can take them through to do it. They're going to be going, let's go. Let's sign up. And now we've turned your passion into something tangible. Now we've turned your passion from something that you just love and care about into solving something that's specific and tangible for the person on the other side. You are able to now solve their problem. And now we've taken what you love and turning it into something meaningful for them on the other end. When you turn this into something meaningful for them on the other end, because that's the transition. We want them to see the value for their lives, so they want to pay you for the solution. That's how we get a business to work out of our passion. When they do that, now we're cooking. Now we're moving, because now they're paying for the transformation and you get to do what you love to do. So to wrap things up, just kind of pull things all together, passion becomes powerful when it becomes clear. And I think that's the thing that I want you to take away as much as anything today. If you want your passion to turn into income, you have to make it into something that's very clear in terms of you solving a problem for somebody else. Somebody else needs to be able to see the clear benefit of how this is going to transform their life in a very positive way. When you do that, now we're talking. Now we've taken something that's vague, something that you just care about, and turned it into something that is highly valuable to the person on the other side. Something that they would trade money for to get to that solution, to get to that transformation. So this week, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go and write this out. I help blank go from blank to blank. It's a very simple statement. You don't overthink it, but you can help people go from and help a specific group of people go from wherever they are today to the transformation that they want. Like, for me, go from having a very chronic pain-filled shoulder to a shoulder with no pain and full mobility. Simple. That is exactly what I'm paying the trainers for that kind of solution. So that's everything we got for you today. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. I hope you can see now how to take some of your passion, make it clear, and turn it into something that people will pay for. As always, if you have questions, check out designlaunchgrow.com. We would love to chat with you and help you build a business around your dreams. Otherwise, have an amazing day, and I will see you again in the next episode.